Hi, before we jump into today's interview with Christophe de Rassenfosse, who is, by the way, one of the most experienced CPOs in our industry, we wanted to mention our sponsor, PropTech, who are actually a very relevant sponsor, especially given today's interview topic. So in the interview, we talked with Christophe a little bit about how real estate portals are going from being search engines to engagement engines. And engagement is exactly what PropTech gets you. So PropTech do things like virtual staging, listing descriptions, real-time renovation estimates, furniture shopping, photo compliance, all those things that keep users on your site and engaged. If you're interested, head to proptech2x's.com. On to the interview. Hello and welcome to the PPW pod, bringing you news, views and interviews from the world of real estate marketplaces and PropTech. My name is Edmund Keith. I'm the editor of onlinemarketplaces.com. Joined today by Simon Baker, as always. How are you doing, Simon?
Doing very well. Good afternoon, and looking forward to talking to Christophe about search and property portals. So it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, today we're joined by Christophe de Rassenfosse, ex-CPO of Property Finder in the UAE, and I believe ex-CPO of Stepstone, the kind of giant jobs marketplace operator in Europe.
Yep,
Christophe,
indeed.
how are you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to meet you online. Let's go.
So, well, I mean, apart from his very relevant industry experience, the reason I wanted to have Christophe on the podcast was that he and I got into a good-natured debate on LinkedIn about real estate portal search. Now, those who have read things that I've written over the last 4 or 5 years will maybe know that I'm a bit skeptical, a bit grumpy. I tend to think that real estate portals have not innovated as much as they could have. And Christophe is perhaps here to tell me why that is, or to say that that's complete nonsense. So, yeah, Christophe, are you up for a debate today?
I'm definitely up for today. And maybe just for credibility, I need to mention that before Property Finder, what the Stepstone and Property Finder are also marketplace, both marketplace. One is for job, the other one is for real estate. And the core of the business is the matching capability. So I've been CPO at Stepstone since 2009. Imagine a world where the iPhone was just launched. So you have to imagine the search journey and the evolution from the last almost 15 years. And I guarantee you that they have changed. Now, is it at the pace you want? Is it as glamorous as you want? We can debate that, but for sure, there are a lot of change happening.
Okay, so you were at Stepstone, then you were at Property Finder. Before we get into this, is there anything that you're sort of really proud of from your time in the industry? Like any kind of big step forward in the industry that you think you were part of, that you know, if you were to point to one thing that you did, you think, well, you know what, that was really good. That was an innovation or a change that really helped people.
Both job and real estate are one of the most stressful decisions you make in your life. You lose your job, you lose your money, you lose your roof, you lose everything. So I've been working those two sectors for now 15 years, and helping those millions of people is just it's incredible to see the return you get from that small change. You know, I mean, we look at leads, we look at clicks, we look at visits. At the end of the day, it's conversation that happens with either recruiter or real estate agent. And that's really what I did focus on in the last 15 years, creating that consumer experience. And obviously with a business benefit. I mean, if you are consumer first, you get lead, and if you have lead, quality lead, you get revenue. That's the basic flywheel of the marketplace. But helping those millions of people every month, that's super rewarding.
Okay, so even the person who I'm going to try and paint as the bad guy here, you know, they do try and help the end user. That is the way they're thinking about it. So there's, yeah,
and
we're
there
all
is
on
a
the same
say
here at the end of the day, right?
there is a say at the end. There is a say at the end of the day. You always blame the product. So I'm fine. You know, I've been CPO, but it's 15 years. I know the ends.
Okay, all right. Let's get into it. Let's get into the debate. Let's start with the first kind of point that you were making on that LinkedIn thread where we were talking back and forth. You made an interesting point, which was that the real estate portal homepage is perhaps no longer the main entry point, and that the main entry point is now like a mobile app. Could you maybe just like expand on that? How you, at your time of Property Finder, came to that conclusion?
You have to look at your traffic source. Okay. Before the apps, the homepage direct traffic was a portion of the traffic anyway. Then came recommendation, alert, and that bring a lot of returning user that you have been already on your website. The one that came through the homepage were the one that didn't know your brand, so SEO brand played a role, or that you re-engage with, or you keep top of mind. You know, that's that's a portion of the audience that you capture. Now, if you look at the little window of activities, I mean, for a job, it might be 3 months. For a rent here in Dubai, it might be 2 weeks. For buying a house, it might be, again, 2 months. They land on your website through a variety of techniques. And they usually don't, they usually start the journey on the result page already. And that's, if you look at the SEO trend, either your brand is super strong, like Property Finder, so then you have some kind of SEO branding. You do branding offline as well, and that drives traffic on the homepage for sure. But the majority of the traffic is entering through a result page already, not a listing, a result page. If you look at the evolution of SEO, whatever you do content, you try to squeeze in some kind of recommendation or property. If you do at step end at Property Finder, I launch a kind of long tail keyword project, making sure that we cover all type of search combination, and the search is happening in Google. You know, so the homepage was there already irrelevant. Now, if you then look at the rise of mobile, 60% of the lead came through the app. Super engaged user, super highly engaged user, because they are actively looking for a property here. And there is no homepage. I debate with marketing about that. When you do a branding campaign, you need somehow to reflect the campaign on the website. On the app, yes, we can, but there is no homepage. It's just like a wizard for search. And then once you've done your onboarding, you are on the app. Next time you open the app, you have a kind of alert that tells you this is the new property you are looking for. So there is that notion of homepage disappear. It's still super important it's the business card of the business. I mean, if you do your job, you're gonna go to the homepage, and then you start counting whatever number of listing, or look for PR news. But that's not the majority of the traffic. The lead engine is not fueled from the homepage.
Okay, that's interesting. Simon, having run a real estate portal kind of prior to that shift, I would imagine, how have you seen it over the years? Do you think there obviously has been a shift? When do you think that shift was? And do you think it's maybe a geographical thing? So maybe in some markets, the homepage is still more important than it is in other markets?
No, I don't think it's geographical. I think it's a function of SEO, and clearly over the last 15 plus years, SEO has become super critical. It's as much an art as it is a science, trying to work out how the hell to do it properly. But if you do it well, and someone says, I want that home to live in Alicante or whatever, and they don't want to go to the homepage, that makes no sense, right? It makes sense to land on those properties in Alicante that may meet whatever the search criteria has been put in. And so the art form for portals, as well as the Trovits and Machulas, the vertical search, is to make sure that you deliver the results that the consumer is asking for at search. And a lot of people start at that search level. Okay. So the homepage is not so relevant in that case. However, if you already know the brand, right? So you know realestate.com.au, you know Property Finder or whatever, you tend to sit there and if you're on your desktop, you're going to type in Property Finder, you're going to type in REA, you're going to hit that homepage, and then you're going to start your search process, unless it's already stored as a search string in Google or Bing or whatever it is that you use. So there is a degree of, clearly you can't have a bad homepage because that's going to be brand damaging, but it's not for the majority of people, it's not the first page you land on. And of course, then the rise of the app. And I think the sort of apps came around with the launch of, the iPhone and Android phones, and they sort of came up and they sort of disappeared for a while. And then people were talking about web search and, was it mobile ready web pages or whatever that's called, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, mobile friendly,
Yeah, mobile friendly web, which never really worked. And it wasn't the world's best experience. And then, of course, apps have come back. Now that, you've got geolocation, you've got a whole bunch of additional functionality built into the app that makes it a far greater experience. And then, of course, when I open the app goes, oh, here you are in, I'm in Monaco today. So here you are in Monaco. I'm going to take you straight to the page with the listings rather than take you back to that front page to start doing the search process again. So
you're right. I mean, the front page is indeed for desktop, and it's the portfolio of your product offering. So you clearly see that. And I remember an anecdote when I was at Stepstone. The homepage became the corporate underwear. So each department tried to fit in, say, look, I'm marketing. I need a state on the homepage. Oh no, I'm doing that. Monster completely screwed their business like that. And at Stepstone, we just benefit from that because our search worked. Monster really did us a favor at Stepstone at the time because they demolished their homepage, which was for us at that time super relevant. 10 years after, that's not the case anymore. It's the look at the traffic engagement. The game in real estate now is really to capture the consumer as early as possible in the search journey, and then make him engage on your platform. So, for instance, if you create a lead, then you go to an agent, and that agent show you different property. You lost your consumer, you lost your visitor. So the game is really to build an engagement platform rather than a search platform. So there is a paradigm shift, and we need to focus on how do we engage with those users, because the window is generally 1 to 3 months. And that's our opportunity window. If you lose that momentum, and if the consumer goes straight to the client that actually pay the bills of the portal, it's good. It's one lead, but with that lead, it can generate maybe 4 or 5 leads. And the game is to be better than those professionals that know the market and come with some tooling for consumer. As an example, 12 or 15% of the traffic goes to a product called Data Guru, where we explain real estate in Dubai. Now, it doesn't mean that they will actively create a lead, but at least they know where to live, which type of community, what they can afford. And that become a qualified lead the minute he's hitting the lead button. And that's also part of the SEO strategy. If you go in the listing detail page, you have much more data that create that transparency. And the goal is to educate those consumers so that they know, boom, okay, I am going back to Property Finder because I trust the data. And that's really what works. I mean, I've met some consumer, and they were amazed by a very simple feature. It says total cost of the transaction. So you have the price of the property, but then you have associated cost, whatever it is, fees, agency commission, whatsoever. And nobody really cover that. So they go to Property Finder for that. They don't trust an agent anymore. So we become then the platform of reference for those kind of information, which then bring the consumer back to the platform. And that's the game. Just search is obviously important, but it's really the engagement loop that matters.
Okay, that's interesting. So we're talking about engagement platforms rather than search platforms. That's an interesting, I guess, paradigm.
Yes.
The other kind of point of debate that we had before was, I think so my original post was something along the lines of, why have real estate portals not adopted AI search en masse, right? And you made probably a very good point here, saying that AI might actually be better used elsewhere. Search needs to be smooth, and the idea should be to move to a searchless experience. Now, I think I know what a searchless experience means. I think I know what you're getting at. But could you maybe go into a bit of detail about what a searchless experience means and how real estate portals are thinking about this?
The golden rule is that the less click you have, the more conversion you have. Okay, so start with that usability paradigm. Now, where I think real estate can do a better job is to recommend your property, and it's not obvious. If you just ask, okay, budget, number of bedroom, yeah, you're gonna give not very personalized result. The minute you know the consumer through pattern analysis, behavioral analysis as well, then you understand what he's really looking for. And again, those side products like Data Guru help you to say, okay, this guy has a family. He favor proximity to school rather than proximity to restaurant. The minute you know that, you factor that in your system, recommendation engine, and then you start being much more relevant again. So the Searchless experience, I've done that at Stepstone. There is an evolution from keyword search. Then we try to understand the query with semantic search. Then we went to the big data stuff and trying to analyze that. So move to recommendation. And more the alerts are not triggered by the consumer anymore, but by the system. You don't know the job title that you're looking for, or I'm CPO, but I can be digital officer in some other corporation that use a different name. I don't know that. As a consumer, the machine knows it. And at real estate level, for searching that ecosystem, we need to understand where you want to live. And it goes beyond the traditional query you have on the homepage. Bedroom, location. I cannot even spell the right location here in Dubai. It's useless. I'm looking for a map, and then commute time that matters. It's not the map itself. So there is
is this a function of almost tracking you and saying, well, Christophe's looked at these types of houses. He spent 30 seconds, 5 seconds looking at this, but a minute looking at that. He looked at 2 images here. He looked at 15 images there. And then really understanding what's behind those images. Well, you spend more time looking at, I don't know, a house with a backyard or a pool or you're looking for location. You're always looking at the map and moving around what's in that area of the portal. There's a background noise.
Sorry for that.
Yeah, it's okay. It's always good to have a helper in this process. So then what I think is it's a case of, understanding how you search what's important to you and then doing the search for you while you're sleeping, if you think about it, and then delivering up the results.
That's the idea. Are we there with real estate? No. I could achieve that at Stepstone. And what it's not about, it's not Big Brother, it's in your interest. You look at the Netflix recommendation, you don't have that same problem. You look at TikTok, you feel comfortable in your feed as well, but it's the same type of mechanism. So what you are after is to understand your appetite, capture as much data point that tell us, okay, that's a family of 4. That's the type of environment they are looking at. And AI help us actually to classify the inventory in different way. Traditionally, you have unit type, community, price. Okay, I'm summarizing. Now, if you don't know that community is green or is more nightlife or has more XYZ, you will never really be relevant. So the goal is actually to capture those type of signal through different means, and it can be outside search. So in our case, it could be in a product called Data Guru. And to collect all those type of data. Now, in the job world, it was a bit easier. You can do either core based on behavior, profile like you click on that, or you can do core based on document similarity. This type of job description is similar to that. We could actually go to a similar model. What we started as well at Property Finder is a property graph. So it starts from off-plan. Then that unit is part of a building. That building is a community. And over time, we have been through the entire cube all property in Dubai will be on Property Finder at one point in time, but I can start tracking all that kind of evolution. And if I supplement community with data, like restaurants, gym, clinics, school, mosque, whatever, it's a content acquisition, but that's an IP. That's the IP we create to help validating the choice for those consumers. And if you use only commodity or information accessible by everybody, you don't create a value proposition. And our USP is really to supplement the property graph with external data that we can use to be more relevant to consumers.
It seems, so going back to the concept of a searchless experience, it seems to me, perhaps anyway, that I'm not sure I like as a consumer this searchless experience. I think I want control as a consumer. Now, you made a comparison there with Netflix and the recommendation engine on Netflix. Netflix isn't a business that gets paid per impressions it shows of different TV shows, right? Whereas real estate portals, you get paid depending on how many impressions or how many leads go to different listings, right? So I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit here. It seems to me that the real estate portal wants to take control of this simply so that they can show the listings that pay more. And they're a bit scared of maybe having an AI search with, a user doing free text entry, because they are perhaps scared that if they allow the user to do that, the user will not the listings that pay more. Does that sound fair? Because that's what it seems like from the outside.
It is fair. Now, again, if I look at the visibility product, the SERP is the battlefield. The higher on the result is the higher lead. I mean, that's no doubt. But that's outdated with recommendation, with notification. Again, we need to reinvent ourselves, because you expect, when you have your phone, you expect notification that says new property in the area you're looking for. You want to be the first to contact the agent, regardless of what that agent pays the portal. So, and again, I'm very strict on being consumer first, because that's what's fueled the sales engine. If you have low quality of lead, low volume, guarantee you don't get business neither. So you're gonna need to make a business decision and say we're gonna be consumer first. Now, I'm trying my best in create additional revenue stream. So the battlefield on the position, I mean, it's still the cash cow, so there is no debate that it will disappear in the next 6 months. But you're going to need to prepare that, because technically speaking, as a consumer in a low commission community, I still expect Property Finder to find me, to feed me with the new product. So it doesn't matter how much the client pays at the end of the day. And you see that there is the same debate when you reorder the result. You also lose the monetization engine. And those are factors that we need to monitor. Consumer expects such a change anyway. So you're going to need to reinvent your model, potentially through enriching the lead, or I don't want to be closer to the commission, but as a portal, there are different avenues that you can use to monetize differently than today.
Yeah, man. There is the model that's been set up is one which thrives on inefficiency. Okay, it's all about, well, I'm going to be inefficient. I get you, Christophe, to stay on the site longer than you really should. Look at more listings than you really want to, because you've got to look through a whole bunch of stuff. I can put display advertising, I can put premium ads, and so on there. If I'm the ultimate inefficiency, which is I know exactly what you want, because at the end of the day, you do buy a property, okay? So if I turn up today with that property and go, here you go, and you only ever look at one property I recommend you and you buy it, the ultimate inefficiency, but the ultimate in value destruction for the portal based on its current model.
And there is, at the end, you're right. So at the end of the day, what do we sell? We don't sell impression. We sell a quality lead that is easy to convert or to transact with. Okay. So, we did an experiment last year, mainly for off-plan. So a listing of off-plan make no sense. So we moved to project. So we advertise. We didn't even we create project page, and then we put the lead on a campaign-like system like Google. You are a marketer, you want to spend X on that type of project. Fine, what's your cost per lead? Great, and then we built an algorithm that distributes the lead across the one that has won the campaign. That could be the next evolution for the portal. If you don't experiment those models, the minute you see that your search result list become less and less relevant, you lose. So we're gonna need to find the right balance between innovating, experimenting versus protecting the core. But those models, like project-based model or building-based model, and then you just collect the lead through that, why not? There are different avenues that you can do to get additional revenue stream.
Yeah, we have this interesting challenge that property portals and real estate agents are middle people in this process, right? We actually don't consume the outcome, and we're not a supplier, and we're not a consumer at the end of the day. So we don't have demand or supply, but we are trying to match the two. So the true beneficiaries are the person selling the house and the person buying the house. The person buying the house wants to buy the house that meets their needs at the lowest possible price. And the person selling the house wants to find a buyer, probably with time as a function, a high level of functionality or high importance at the highest possible price, right? So the question is, you've got to solve that equation, right? But the problem is that that portals and agencies where they make a lot of their money are both intermediaries in the process. So
I would add the speed of transaction. I mean,
yes.
Agent aids that property stay on them for months. They want to sell it and get a commission, even if it's lower commission. At the end of the day, they just want to get paid and move on to the next one. So it's time to transact is also super relevant for client, and that's where the quality of the lead matters. We are back to the engagement and the qualification of that lead. Yeah.
So behind everything, Ed, I think is the issue that the current model is set up on inefficiency. The market, the internet's driving us over time to more efficiency, and the two sort of crash. Okay, and that puts stresses and strains on it. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think, what Christophe's talking about is how do you rethink the model in a way that works for everyone? What's important to the agent is selling fast. What's important to the consumer is selling, the seller is selling fast. So that's a tick, it's aligned, but maximizing the price. The agent doesn't want to maximize the price. The agent just wants to sell the property because that extra 100,000 at 2% is $2,000 in their pocket, but they might be already getting 2 million. So they're already getting the 40,000, right? So 40 versus 42, who cares? Okay.
And there is a full ecosystem that you can also monitor is the agent to agent lead. More and more you have a buyer agent and a seller agent, and it doesn't happen it's not by the model itself is still a search portal, but then I'm contacting an agent and that agent became my buyer agent because he proposed me other properties from other companies, and then there's big commission. So time is super critical, which is an opportunity as well for portal to reinvent their monetization avenue the minute the search importance goes down. At the moment, it's not the case. Let's make that super clear. It's still the battleground. It's still where the competition is happening. It's still where the money is done. Now, if you want me to predict the future, as a middleman, somehow that will fade out, and you're gonna need to reinvent. So be prepared now.
Yeah,
and for that, the search on the homepage is irrelevant.
Yeah, I agree with that one. 2-1 in this argument, but I do agree that that if you are a Rightmove or an REA or a Property Finder, and your model is fundamentally structured around premium advertisements, display advertising, maximizing the time on site that Ed as a buyer is going to spend there so I can put more advertisements in front and getting as many leads as possible. All of those account to what really matters, which is minimizing his time on site and giving him the properties that really meet his requirements in such a way that can.
Yeah, that I didn't. I think, I've experienced that at Stepon. That was the ultimate goal. This job is for you, you're going to get it. No, I think as a human being, I want to have choice. So I need at least to see 3 properties before buying one. It's very seldom that you just eat and go. You're going to need to have a choice. But I agree with you. The models can actually tell you this is the perfect priority.
Yeah. And you don't need to be showed 500 properties and being asked to every time you do that search, go back and look at all the properties. Have I seen this one before? Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, I did like that. Oh, no, it's out of my price range, or it's not on the market anymore. All these things that are annoyances built into the system. Now, it's very hard to believe that in 20 years, so think about it this way. Go back 25 years, it was hard to believe that you would never look at a newspaper again, and you would be only looking online, and you'd be looking at complete markets online. Go back 25 years, it's hard to believe that you'd be paying some of the prices you are to advertise online. Go forward 20 years, it's going to be hard to believe that you are having the same search experience as you are today. It's not like we've reached the zenith. This is the ultimate way of doing it.
And there is a way to capture requirement that will change. That's 100%. So in that case, I think that's where you want to go, Edmund. It's how do we make sure that the search is relevant? And it's not the search element anymore. It's the property that are proposed to consumer are relevant. And that needs to evolve. That goes beyond the standard taxonomy we have, property type, search, bedroom, and budget. That's for sure. That they're realigned.
And it needs to be presented in a way that is intuitive. So what I want ocean views, or I might want no longer than 40 minutes travel to work every day, and I ride a bike. Or everyone's requirements are in property, they're different. In buying a car, they're more homogenous. But buying property is so unique. I mean, you've got young kids. I'm trying to get mine are in their 20s, right?
And
it's got a very young kid.
And that's where, but the requirements are not explicit in the listing description. And that's where I can help you through image description. And I mean, we have more than 10 million images on the website at Property Finder. You can actually analyze them and add those additional feature, like, okay, ocean view. It's not necessarily applicable everywhere. It can be lake view, it can be ocean view, it can be river view, whatsoever. The image can tell you. If you start building like the old world, taxonomies of all possible combination, you're dead. It doesn't work anymore. So you're going to need to be more clever. And our first step, again, I use that example, Data Guru, is to document the community itself. Okay, it was easier for us to start. You have 400 communities in Dubai. It's easy to add characteristic on those 400 communities. But that's exactly going into that direction. It goes further beyond that apartment, 2-bedroom at that price. It's okay. Now it's a green community, close or proximity to school, it's XYZ. Yeah. And their AI can be much more relevant than Gen AI, where I need to type, hey, hello, I love fitness, I love XYZ, where should I live? I mean, that's...
Okay. Guys, I think we're going to leave it there. I think Simon said he has to go to the dentist. So
thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
That's for the
but this is something, I've got a whole load of other questions here. You actually answered a few of them just then, but there's lots of other facets to this debate, I think, and maybe we'll have this debate in person one day.
Can organize a round too.
Thank you so much for giving me time to us.
Thank you for having
Simon,
me.
as always, thank you for sharing your thoughts. And
thank
we'll
you.
see everybody for the next episode.
Yeah, we are. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.